Hello. Let's see if it's recording first. Hang on. Sorry about that half-face thing. Okay, we're recording. Okay. There's things going on the internet about the two different shows for the Super Bowl for the halftime. Okay. I understand that there's a lot of people that do support Trump and do like Kid Rock, but let me tell you something about Kid Rock. He has a song, and you probably all heard it, and he probably sang it during the halftime show, his part. Hang on, let me see what just flipped up. Okay, just somebody posting their video. Anyway, he has a song that does talk about raping underage girls. But yet you all who like Kid Rock like him for that? Really? That's like supporting that kind of thing. I mean, let's get it straight. He's friends with Trump. There's a reason for that. To me, he's washed up anyway. If you look at pictures of him, all he does is sit around and drink. And he looks like he's 80 years old when he's in his 50s. So, you tell me, what's so great about him, okay? His voice is going out, I can tell, but, listening to, you can put on any updated video of him singing now, and it won't sound the same as when he first started. And the fact that he claimed, when he first started, he claimed that he was from Mount Clemens, which is a suburb of Detroit, when he's not. He's from Romeo, Michigan. Now, I've never been to that city, so I can't say anything bad about it, but the fact is, you don't claim you're somewhere else, and he's lucky that none of the gang members out there got a hold of him for that. But that's neither here nor there. What's the problem is, even Trump is, likes the man, even, and I can see why, because he does the same thing. And those pictures that are on the internet showing him with underage girls, like 13 and 12 and all that, guess what? They're real. Get real with that. Okay, support him all you want. That doesn't make you what he is, but that's who you want to support. That's fine. But you remember, karma has a way of hitting. So he keeps doing his little thing bad, like, and treating people the way he does. He's going to end up in worse shape when he does get into heaven. And y'all that support him, stop throwing the Christian religion in ball, because there's Christians that don't like him either. There's not just, all Christians don't like him. They're the ones that support him that are Christian do. But there are Christians that don't. And for those who think Catholic religion isn't Christian, you better look it up a bit. Because it is a form of Christianity. And we don't worship Mary. That's why there's more prayers for, to talk to God, right? But see, y'all sit back there and on the social media and say that stuff about the Catholic religion. Okay, I grew up in it, so I know. We do not worship Mary, but we understand her sacrifice. And that's what you are guys are not realizing what, as I call her, the Holy Mother, went through to bring Jesus into the world. I mean, if you want to go that route, okay, you believe in Jesus, then you better respect his mother. because that's still his mother when it comes down to it. You know, same thing. You respect God, you believe in God, then you need to show a little respect towards the person that went through so much, because that woman almost died because of it. People were going to stone her to death. But before you say anything against the Catholics, you better look about where the religion came from. It didn't just pop up all of a sudden. Okay, it's over 2,000 years old too, as well as Christianity. And you better think about some of your ancestors before that even came into being. And I'm talking ancient world, like before Christ. Your ancestors were pagan. They worshipped other things. They worshipped more than one God. But because of, God, and the wrath, and all that stuff, which you can read in the Bible, which you better realize that Bible was not written by God. The men who wrote it were inspired by God. The stories handed down about, David and Goliath and the ark and everything, even though we know all that stuff's real, because they did find the ark. You need to understand something. Everybody's going to believe different. Just like I don't disrespect you for believing what you believe, but don't disrespect me either. It's two-way street. You can't, say evil things about one religion and you don't know about it, don't talk about it. Do some research before you talk about it. I mean, I don't know everything I know about any other religion, but what I grew up in. But I know that there's good and bad in every religion. Get that straight. No religion is perfect. But you got to be a little more open, because that's the way life is. I don't really like talking about religion either, because I'm a bad Catholic. Let's get that straight. I'm a bad Catholic. I haven't been to Mass for a long time. Excuse me. But, the things I remember, and I'm telling you from memory, because some of my memory doesn't work really that great. I do remember, a few things. So, I'm just saying, if you claim to be American and Christian, then act it. Don't be, judging people because they're not your religion. Because this country, even though the country was stolen from the Native Americans, be truthful on that one. That's the truth. Whether you all want to admit it or not, it started from the eastern seaboard on to the west. And we treated the natives like crap. Be honest. And yeah, I'm not talking about the ones that are alive today, but our ancestors did. I don't know if mine ever did or how they believe, because I never got to talk. I should have asked my grandmother about, her mother and, everything else, but I was young at the time. So I'm not saying my family was treated them perfectly either, because, there's odds that they didn't. But we stayed mainly in Ohio and New York when our family got here. So, so you gotta admit, we try to get our ancestors that came before us tried to kill a whole race of people, just like the Nazis did in Germany, was trying to kill the whole Jewish race. And the weird thing about it is, no matter how you look at it, Christianity is also derived from Judaism, which was called Hebrew back then, but now it's just a language now. So it's called Judaism now, or the Jewish faith. Let's get it straight. And I know about that, okay? I know a little bit about it because My grandmother lived in a Jewish neighborhood. Even though she was Catholic, she lived in a Jewish neighborhood. My mother had friends that lived in the same building that was mainly Jewish people. So, you know, each religion is tied somehow. I'm talking about the Christian side. Is tied somehow to the Jewish faith. You know. And then you got some of you Christians out there saying, well, Jewish people are wrong and all that. They're not wrong. They believe in God. You know, like I said, you want to pull a religious thing, you better research the whole thing before you start talking about it. Because none of us know exactly what is what, okay? There is no true religion. You know, there's only faith. I mean, as long as you believe in God. God is the main one you should believe in anyway, because God created the world, so we've been told. We will see. When we get there, we all will find out what's true. And I have a strong faith, so I believe God is there, okay? A lot of people don't, and I don't put them down for that. That's their belief. And that's another thing. You guys that call yourself Christian, when you hear somebody is agnostic or they don't believe in God, period, you put them down for that belief. They have their reason for believing that. And you think about that. I'm just saying, let me see how far this got. Because I'm trying to make them a little longer. Let me put my glasses on so I can see. I mean, these are my old ones. So it's the puppy did when I lived here before. Don't mind that. That's that comes with it's from oily skin, you know. But, you know, enough talking like that. I hope everyone's doing well, you know. We got to stick together in this world, people, and I mean the whole world. You know, we can't be against one person because you don't like them. Hang on, I got to pick up this doll. One of the dolls we bought from the Salvation Army. I don't know what country she's from, but might be Ireland, might be a Slovak nation, I don't know. I mean, there's nothing to say where she's from, but she's dressed in, you know, things. We're trying to put things together. You know, that's our little shelf. And then we got another shelf over here, but, you know. I just think all this hate towards the people, and I don't hate nobody. I don't even hate Trump. I may dislike him, I may dislike what he's doing, but that doesn't mean that I hate, because I don't hate. I would never hate. I was not brought up to hate people. You know, I was brought up to, you know, respect others, and I do. But when I get tired of hearing it's the same old stuff about, you know, you picking on somebody because you don't like how they believe or, you know, where they're from, you know. People look at my Facebook when I make a comment and then they say, well, you're from Germany. Well, yeah, I was born there, but that doesn't mean I'm from there. I mean, I have German ancestry. It's Northern German ancestry, as a matter of fact, where, you know, my ancestors look like where they came from. It was part of the Prussian area. But that's not me. My parents are both American. My father was born in Cleveland, Ohio. Second generation. My mother was born in New York. And let's see. She was like fourth or fifth generation. All lived in New York. You know, my father's grandmother on my grandma's side She was from Orleans, New York, and I don't know how long she's been there. I'm still trying to look that stuff up, which is not easy. Doing my mother's side is hard because my great grandmother married 3 times, and I did find out what my great grandpa Jonas did, which is my dad's grandfather. He was a wheelwright for a noble family. That's as far as I got. Now, I don't know if that has anything to do with the rumor, and it's a rumor. I can't prove that. If it were true, I probably would have already found out. But what I think is, he worked for a noble family. He may have been given, or his father may have been given a title. I don't know. I can't swear to it, and I'm not going to say, yeah, my family has a title, because Hungary has been through so much. The size has dwindled since then, and things have changed. Things change in Europe anyway. But my parents are both American. I just happened to be born in Germany because that's where my dad was stationed at, and where my mother didn't. Prior to the first time in Germany, prior to my birth, my parents were in Alabama, and if you want to get technical about, they were in Alabama when I was conceived. Not to go into detail, because who wants to think of their parents doing that? Believe me. She was pregnant with me while on a ship on the way to Germany. And I was born the following September. She's like 3 months along with me when I was born. So, it's because somebody's born in a foreign country does not necessarily mean they're immigrants. I am a descendant of immigrants. I am proud of that. I am proud of my great-grandparents. I'm proud of my great-great-grandparents. It took them a lot to get over here, just like it took anybody a lot, like I often said, three of my grandfather's siblings were born in Hungary/Slovakia, because now it's part of Slovakia. So 3 of them were born here before my grandfather was born here. My grandfather was like the 2nd or 3rd one born in Cleveland, Ohio. But I'm proud of all what they did, because they made it on their own. And they took care of their families, and they got naturalized. It doesn't mean that they entered illegally. I don't know if they went through Ellis Island, but I know they got a naturalization because I saw it online on the documents. I don't know who's holding all those documents or what happened to them or not. I know a lot of stuff disappeared after my parents both died and stuff, so I don't know where all that stuff went, but my birth certificate is in German, but the green, when you're overseas and you bring your child that was born overseas, you get this little paper from the Department of Foreign Affairs showing that yes, this child is a citizen of the United States, which I am. So, but it's locked up in my storage, which I can't get to because it takes 2 days to get from here to there. But hopefully I can go back where my storage is at. Anyway, I just thought I'd talk a little bit about what's been going on, what recent subjects have been going on. Like I said, you got to be good to each other, love each other. If you want to be Christian, you have to love the world. You shouldn't pull hate into it. It's sad. But other than that, everything's going pretty good, One day at a time is all I ask. And for anybody that's of Chinese descent that believes in the Chinese New Year. Happy Chinese New Year this week. And this is the year of the fire horse, I think it's called. Anyway, there's a subscribe button down there if you like just me chatting. Try not to pay attention to my and a notification bell down there. I don't make money off this. I don't expect money for that. It's just me yakking. Anyway, there you go. So everybody have a good day. And we'll see if I make another one tomorrow. I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.